author Keith Baker on a similar theme, because that's what his book Fathers of Football is about. When did you get the idea for this, Keith?
I suppose about 18 months ago, Alan. I've always been a bit of an amateur historian, and I like writing, and I like digging around, finding information. And the people in there have got some fascinating lives. Not only, as you say, they took the game around the world for many different reasons, motivated sometimes by money, sometimes to get a job, sometimes, as you say, a little missionary activity went on. So I just got gripped by them and thought, these are interesting people. But if you said, Herbert Gilpin, who did he play for? Most people would say, who did he turn out for, or as James Spenceley. No one really honours them in this country. But if you go abroad, Italy, Austria, Czech Republic now, Russia, indeed. So these Brits are well known and honoured. I mean,
in these countries where they've taken...
That's right. And I'm afraid their profits honoured abroad, but not so much in the UK.
Why do we not honour them?
I don't know. Well, partly because they, I think they had a different interpretation of the game. It's very interesting, that, I think. A lot came from a Scottish background, where the game, as you probably know, took off in a sort of different way, as a different style of football, very much now, which we've adopted, and certainly the continental countries adopted. Quick passing, movement, accuracy, not the biff and crash and be booted upfield and a big centre forward to smash it into the back of the net. Yeah. That was the game in Britain, in England, for quite a long time.
The Scots have always had their flair players and their wingers and the smaller talented players.
That's right. So it never captured the interest and the authority that it did abroad. Maybe because we thought we were the best in the world until 1953. A team from Hungary came along and upset everything.
I was going to say, do we not honour these people because they've got a lot to answer for? They've taken our game abroad, and abroad they're better at it than us. Is that the reason why?
Maybe there's something about that, yes. Certainly the official bodies took a long time to recognise the greatness of some of the coaches, like Jimmy Hogan, who coached the famous Hungarian side, for example. But I just think there was a passion that these Britons did ignite in countries, big cities like Milan, Genoa, Barcelona, Moscow, which is a hugely interesting episode, I think, the Moscow connection, which, didn't happen in this country.
And we're talking here, really, of the period before the First World War, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are, very much so. The footballers, it really began to take off in the mid-19th century in Britain. Great clubs like the Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday were founded.
The game was born here, yeah.
The game was born here. Lancashire, another hotbed of the game. The Midlands, some great clubs there were formed. And by the end of the century, the game was well established here. But as the book shows, partly because some of these fathers of football became injured, playing for clubs over here, and needed to make a living, or they were interested in coaching, or some of them not really from a football background, but they went abroad and got caught up in the game themselves, either because they brought some money in it and so on, could see some money out of it as well, and so on.
Well, we'll talk later about some of these characters individually and some of the anecdotes. I know some quite funny stories, so we'll go into that later. Are you a fan of any other sport, Mike?
I watch a little bit of football, not too much, but yeah, mostly basketball for me. Right now, it's